man. Jake and I are excited to have you on because you guys know a lot about Denver. So, I mean, there's the shirt design and your whole history as a business, but there's the knowledge that you guys spit about Denver. So it's good to have you guys on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, it's rare that we have 4 natives sitting at a table at once right here.
Right.
Yeah.
This is definitely very cool.
So we can all talk shit to the people from California right now. Yeah.
Well, we can do that, but I will say, as we are natives, these guys have a knowledge of Denver and Colorado, especially with how they make their t-shirts and the designs and what goes behind them and the history behind them. Even their history,
you guys been in business for like 21 years, right? Talk about how you got started in a little bit, because Indy Ink and Abstract Denver, they're all different but the same.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we started in 2002 as Indy Ink, and we started out of the back of Aaron's house. He was working as art director for a crazy person?
For a clothing company. Just graduated from DU and saw an ad for a press in the paper. I called him up because we would kind of print shirts as a hobby. We'd just print up silly shirts and sell them out of backpacks, walk around.
Nice.
And I always kind of loved doing that and wasn't enjoying my job. It wasn't what I thought it would be. I graduated and was like, oh, this isn't the life I really want.
So what did you get your degree in?
It was
he doesn't even remember.
What was that?
It started just as graphic design.
Okay.
But then they're like, oh, computers are important. So then it was electronic media and design.
Okay.
Which I don't even think that's right.
Yeah, what is that? What the hell is that?
Yeah. They changed it as I was in the program because they're like, we need to push web and digital stuff.
Did you enjoy your time at DU?
Yeah, it was great.
Good. Nice. Very, very cool.
I've never showed my diploma to anybody, but
it's in your heart. It's in your heart.
Yeah.
And that's all that matters.
Yeah.
So where'd you guys meet? Did you go to school with him?
We met at ACC, community college, in a photography class. Yeah.
Were you selling shirts out of your bag too? Or?
Yep. I had another screen printing company called Just Add Water. And a friend of mine, John and James, we all did designs and slung shirts out of backpacks, and we did some consignment with some local shops. I don't know if you guys remember Contents on Colfax.
Yeah.
They're kind of one of the first hype streetwear graffiti shops and things. So we sold them there. And so when Aaron called me up and was like, hey, I'm hating this job, I found a press and a dryer in the newspaper, and let's start a screen printing company. I know how to screen print. I know how
And that's where Indy Ink was born?
That's where Indy Ink was born.
Was it did you know there was money there, or was it, hey, let's just make enough money, we like doing this, that's all it is? Just
better than wearing a tie to work every day.
Right.
Yeah.
That's how it started, was a side hustle. I was working as a paramedic for a little local ambulance company when he called me. So I was working like a fireman schedule. So
wow.
I had 4 days off in a row, and I'd come in and do the printing and help out. And you quit your job.
Not immediately. I mean, we wanted to do a clothing line. We wanted to be a brand, and that takes a long time. And just talking to people, I had an art show down at Mutiny Now on Broadway, and talking to him, we have a bunch of friends that are tattoo artists. So we just started doing shirts for tattoo artists, our friends, and then word of mouth. And it's like, I think I can quit my job and just make money off of these people that we're printing shirts for, And the whole idea was like, but then we'll go back to the brand and then we'll do that. But, 20 years later, we're
right. Well, I'll tell you this, the what you guys have built is very, very impressive. The whole operation you guys have over there off of Broadway,
it's massive.
Wiggs and I have been into so many t-shirt shops, as you guys know, as we've talked about. But for our audience, so many t-shirt manufacturers out there just don't get it done. We walk into these guys' place and it is massively impressive. And then you sit down with them and you're like, these are just people I want to get to know and do some business with.
Well, and then you talk about Denver and you're like, well, how do you know this? Here's my question.
Encyclopedias.
So my question is, in our space, like with I'm from Denver and social media, it's like everyone's an influencer now. Everyone's a content creator now. Do you feel that way with screen printing now that because back in the day, getting the equipment was so expensive, but now everyone does it. Do you feel like another competitor, or is it just kind of like, no, we've been around and established so long that we're not threatened by them?
I kind of love how accessible it is for artists to be able to put their stuff out there. I mean, that's what we've always been about, is just trying to find ways for people to express themselves, And the fact that kids these days have so much access to so much stuff is just like mind blowing.
Yeah, the
like,
arts have definitely come a long way.
It's so different than when we started.
So out of Indy Ink, then born was Abstract, correct? And Abstract Clothing is your guys' actual retail locations, correct? Can you talk to us a little bit about how that happened and what's going on with that?
Yeah, so that after we started at his house, like I said, and then we moved to Broadway to Mutiny Now.
Mm-hmm.
He was moving up the street, so we took over his spot. The original plan was just to be a screen printer until we could get the brand going. But since we had a retail facing store, so we got to do this. Mm-hmm. So we called up our friends who are artists, and we put out calls to artists. We would do competitions for shirts, and I mean the list of artists that we've worked with in the past, even before they have made it as big as they are now, is incredible. Yeah. I don't want to try and list everybody because I'll forget somebody, but you guys know who you are.
Yeah. Wait, you guys are all out there. We're giving you guys the plug.
Talk about that. So I think that is the one thing that's unique is you guys don't just design them yourself. How does that work with the artists?
Yeah, so we reach out to artists. They come to us with designs. So we'll come up with an idea. And a lot of times I'll come up with an idea and have an artist in mind already. So I'll think of something and say, oh, this would be this person's kind of style and would fit that really well. So then we reach out, give them the idea, collaborate on the design. Yeah. And then it kind of.
But they get, I don't want to say a cut, but that's what it is. I mean, they get their royalties.
We either give them a flat fee or royalties on the shirts.
Yeah, so the more shirts they sell, the better. So that's a great business model because you're actually involved with artists who essentially are like what you guys were, walking around with a backpack on campus trying to sell the shirts. So
100%.
They could have been selling something way worse out of those backpacks, by the way.
Or good, depending on what your choice of pleasure is.
Buying some of what was in the other backpack too. But back to the Abstract. So the actual storefronts, because you guys have multiple storefronts now in the Stanley Marketplace.
Where are they all at?
What is that, and kind of what are you guys offering in those places, and where are they at?
Yeah, so we've got 4 stores right now: Stanley Marketplace, Edgewater Market, our main shop on 7th and Santa Fe, right in the Art District. Excuse me. And then we have a temporary store downtown on 16th Street Mall.
That's inside the World Trade Center, right?
Just at the base of Republic Plaza.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. So cool. It's 303 16th Street, which like for a Colorado,
that's like that can be better address. Yeah,
right? With constant construction to complete the Colorado
303 720 970. Awesome.
Right. But that's in partnership with the Downtown Denver Partnership.
Okay.
So they hook us
it
up
is.
with
So you guys are with the Downtown Denver Partnership.
Yep.
How did you get that, or what does that look like?
We just kind of applied for it. Yeah. It fell into our laps, and we weren't 100% prepared for the meeting.
What is it?
I think you just saw it online and called me up. He's like, "Should we apply for this?" I'm like, "Well, yeah, why not? Go ahead." And
the Downtown Denver Partnership's expanding like that right now. Yeah. So they're putting it out. They're letting businesses come in.
It's a good program.
It's really neat what they're doing. Yeah.
What is that? I don't really understand.
They're just assisting businesses to get into the 16th Street so that it's not
to make it more affordable.
Very nice.
And make it more affordable and get local businesses back. So it's not just all corporations that are on 16th Street.
Is the construction bad where you're at? I know that they're almost done.
It just moved to our front door.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's not ideal, but
it is what it is. But eventually it'll be.
Yeah.
Do you guys see a lot of businesses from the buildings around there and stuff like that? Because I bet. I mean, man, like coming home from work, or you got to get a gift for somebody. Like that's got to be like a great place to stop if you're downtown. Just get somebody an amazing T-shirt, or an amazing hat.
Yeah, we see a lot of tourists come in. We're right across the street from the Sheridan. So whenever a convention lets out, we see a kind of influx of people. Yeah. And everybody in Republic Plaza knows we're there, and they'll come down and support us as well.
Well, it's funny because I went to the Stanley on Father's Day, and they're like, "Hey, Dad, go pick out a shirt." And I was like, "All right." So I picked out the DIA shirt, and that's the one I'm wearing right now. I didn't know anything about you guys, and then once I got to know, I was like, "Oh man!" I was like, "Your designs in those stores," and I know it's the local artist, but it's all Colorado themed. And so for us, and I'm from Denver, I was like, "Why wouldn't we want to try to figure out some kind of relationship there?" And then we talked to Dave, and it's like, your knowledge of Colorado history, and I want to get into this shirt right now, is Roger the Elephant. One of the things that I loved was, hey, let's talk about some shirt designs. Oh, we got this cool one coming out, Roger the Elephant. I knew nothing about it. Tell people about Roger the Elephant, because I started looking it up after that.
Sure.
Yeah.
So we dig deep into Colorado history. Or when we were printing through Indy Ink, or I mean, we still are, but we printed so many Colorado flags that we kind of made it a rule for us that we didn't want just Colorado flag shirts.
Sure.
Colorado has so much great history and cool stories, so we've just kind of dug deep into things. So with the Roger the Elephant shirt, being in Edgewater Public Market, I wanted to find something that related to the neighborhood. So, Joyride, the brewery there, their mascot is an elephant, so they've kind of really leaned into it as well.
But no one knows what that is,
right?
Like it just sees an elephant.
You tell them the story.
So what is the story of the elephant?
The story, at the turn of the century, 1891, late 1800s, there was Manhattan Beach at Edgewater, like at Sloan's Lake.
Mm-hmm.
So it was an amusement park kind of before Lakeside, before Elitch's was there. Lakeside was just starting to come around, I guess. But they had, like the strong man and the bearded lady and those sort of kind of freak show type of things. Elephant rides. So Roger was a ride that children could sit on top and ride on his back. And we're filling up a hot air balloon, and the sound of that fire going in scared him. And so he kind of reared up, and when he came down, he landed on a kid, unfortunately, and it killed him.
No, that's not an urban legend. That actually happened. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
The urban legend is, some people swear they can hear an elephant at night that live in Edgewater, things like that. So nobody knows the exact location, but there's rumor that he's underneath the Edgewater Public Market or in the parking lot. Like Joyride thinks he's somewhere over in that area.
We have to do an investigation.
Yeah. We're definitely going.
Did they destroy the elephant because he killed the kid, or did they did? So then that's why I was like, why would you hear an elephant unless there's some kind of like?
So they put the elephant down.
They put the elephant down because and if you read the original story, it's crazy the way it's written. The great beast reared up and stamped the lad out of existence. And, I mean,
they just don't write like that anymore.
No,
Stomp the lad out of existence.
But all that. So as you're coming up with these ideas, and you're like, okay, the elephant. Do you research it? Did you already know the history there? How do you develop that and turn that into a shirt?
I knew a little bit of the history, but then I research as much as I can on it, and there are stories that you can find on the internet that they didn't actually kill Roger, that they sold him to another carnival or something in Salt Lake City and gave him a new name and shipped him away. So we're kind of hoping that was the ending of it, and they didn't actually put him down. But
have you ever heard the elephant sound? Oh, okay.
And I live with Sloan's Lake. I've never heard an elephant.
Now with you, Aaron, are you that versed in the history of it, or like when it comes to your side of the business, where do you play a role in all that?
I'm mostly stuck at the warehouse most of the time.
Okay,
and like where a lot of these stories come from is just being in the community. So when we started talking about this, people in Edgewater had stories, and they would just tell us, because they're excited to talk about it because it's the thing that's from their neighborhood,
Yeah.
So that's what's really kind of rewarding, is to just make a connection with people and with the place you're at. And
you're more than just a business. You're part of the community.
You get to lean into the culture a little bit, really become a part of the community, give them something that they can really support. That's great.
Because there's so much interesting stuff out there that just gets washed over, and, businesses come in and they put their identity in, and you kind of lose the neighborhood. So,
all right, talk about the DIA shirt. Did you go in depth with the conspiracies of all that? Like, how do you get that type of concept going?
Yeah, that one just was kind of born exactly out of that. All the conspiracy theories of the underground city under there with the lizard people and things like that. So, yeah, that idea just was grown out of that. And there was another local artist who designed that one for us.
And you're like, hey, this was now. Did you just knew the conspiracy theories, or have you gone deep into?
I don't go too deep into that.
Can't go too deep into DIA without becoming a full-on conspiracy.
Well, then I'm out of my goddamn mind, because I was writing blog stories on that. I was like, oh man, we're having them on. I need to do a story on DIA, and I was using AI. I was like going through some tunnels.
You lose yourself real quick,
and now I realize I'm out of my fucking mind because you guys could care less. And I'm like, I was like so looking forward to talking about that shirt, thinking Dave's going to go into some. Yes, there are lizards under
We're not saying it's not true.
I needed validation, damn it.
It was funny because I think Tom Segura came on his podcast, and talked about that the other day. and about how a lot of airports are like, well, we're really sorry, we're cleaning up, blah, blah, blah. And just really how DIA, even though it's massively over budget, get it together, has really leaned into the fact and all the conspiracy
There's a reason.
Don't look over here. Look over here. Don't look at the budget. Look at all this really funny marketing we're doing.
Right. Yeah.
Oh man! All right, so we'll skip past the conspiracy theories, I guess.
No, please enlighten us.
No. You don't want me to go down that because I believe it all. Well, so anyway, I literally went super deep with like all the artwork and everything. We're not going to touch on that. The other shirt that you guys had that I did want to talk about, and I'm drawn to mine because I'm thinking about the reptilians right now.
By the way, I'm from Denver audience. While he's thinking about what he's going to say, we are all wearing Indy Ink apparel, and these are some pretty awesome shirts. And so
the material's awesome.
Yeah, the material's great. These are like super high quality. These guys, these guys really do make some of the best T-shirts, hats, and other things that are sold at Abstract.
This is one of ours as well.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And they have hoodies. They have windbreakers. I mean, they've got
beanies too, like all that stuff. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
How could you not have beanies?
Of
course, it's Colorado.
Yeah. Listen, I'm still thinking about the goddamn lizard people. All right. And it's so much so that I really forgot my question. I was like, it was such an important question, and I'm drawing a blank on it. Oh, the bulldozer. That's what it was. So the 20th anniversary, the is it Killdozer?
That's its nickname, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And so I went down another rabbit hole, but that one was like
that's a legit one, man. That guy had a pretty big gripe, and he took it out.
Is that something you're working on now, or it's been done? How does that? What are you doing with that process?
Yeah, there's an artist working on that.
Because it's been 20 years. Yeah. Okay.
And that's what kind of brought it up. It started making media again, and I was like, man, why don't we have a shirt of the Killdozer?
Oh, so I will definitely rock that one. That's a great. That was a crazy story. You want to tell that story to our audience real quick?
Yeah, did you do a bunch of research than mine? Yeah. I'm like, see, he did it because of the lizard people, and did you do research on that?
Up there.
Yeah, I mean, I remember watching
that on TV. Yeah,
they said the tunnels go to the Springs. I just wanted to say, so they could go up to Glendale.
Maybe the Killdozer dug them.
Yeah, exactly. It's like they're all partnered together. But did you do research on that?
Yeah, I did some research, but I remember watching that story when it was happening 20 years ago, and watching this guy kind of destroy the city and run over the buildings, and he just had a gripe over some land disputes. And I love his quote though, that was something along the lines of, sometimes reasonable men are forced to do unreasonable things. And I think we can all relate to that in some way or another.
Is that going on the shirt?
Yeah.
That quote?
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, guy's definitely kind of a folk hero, because it was a land dispute. I believe it was the banks or something had repossessed his land, kind of in a shady way, right? And what this guy had done was he took a bulldozer. Thank God we don't all have access to bulldozers when we get upset.
Something that he made.
Yeah, but he
owned a bulldozer.
He owned a bulldozer, but he fully armored it, so nobody could bullets couldn't penetrate it, and then drove over an entire city. And it was Southern Colorado, right?
Yeah.
No.
Granby.
Yeah. Okay.
And so when you're doing the research on this, are you telling the artist all about this? Hey, here's the story on it. Here's what you need to know, or is it more just a fascination for you of I just want to know more about this? Like, where does that?
A little bit of both. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I love the like I said, the kind of underground Denver stories and things like that, or just Colorado, and I came up with, let's do a Killdozer shirt, and can see in my head what I want that to look like. So then I find an artist. So this one is going to be in kind of that Rat Fink style, that old hot rod, kind of, with that had that green mouse on top that would drive the cars and stuff. So the artist is having a little bit of trouble getting there because the Killdozer has such angular lines, and those were always kind of this rounded design. So,
but so you're working with them constantly. You're just communicating with them. Hey, work on this. They give you kind of samples, and you're like, no, switch that up.
Yeah, for the most part. Hopefully, if we're working with the right artist, we can just give them the idea, and when it's done, it's perfect.
Okay.
So if we can talk about it up front, give them all the ideas of what we want done with it, and then they can kind of do exactly in their style. We're never asking an artist. We're picking them because we want that particular style. Yeah. So we're not asking someone to do something that is out of their comfort zone.
And then when the other story that you guys, and I want you to tell that, I didn't know this, the Sasquatch, it's not Sasquatch, but it was like that caused avalanches.
Sure.
Yeah, what was that?
The slide rock bolter.
Okay, talk about that.
Yeah, you know about the slide rock bolter?
Not as well as you do.
So the slide rock.
I feel like he
bolter-
tells you all these stories, and you just sit there and you're like, all right,
He's
man.
like, dude, I'm just in charge. I make sure the inventory moves, man.
Right. Make sure the print looks
Yeah,
good.
yeah. I make
And
sure it
Dave's
looks
over
good.
there being like, we got to do this.
Right. Yeah, so the slide rock bolter is a mythical creature again around the into the 19th century, turn of the 20th century. There was rumors of this giant whale-like creature with a split tail that would come down and eat tourists, basically, and just demolish everything.
What year was this?
So, I mean, the folklore was around the turn of the 19th century.
We got to bring that
19th
back.
Century, yeah.
Yeah, we could definitely kill some of the tours in here.
Well, the
we
lizard people.
we could make the I-70 ride during the wintertime a little bit better.
Well, the lizard people have a time machine, so we can go back. We can go back on the plane to DIA and go back.
No.
Yeah. So what else? So did they just made that up because of the avalanches, or what was the
It
reason?
could be I think it was a story about missing hikers and missing tourists. Like whole groups of people would disappear and they wouldn't find their bodies. So I think this story came up over that, or maybe it's real. I don't know.
God, the things that people made up before social media. I mean, people are still making shit up on social media, but it's like.
Well, I think it's,
now you fact check.
that's got to go back to like the old sailors and stuff like that. Where
Like the Kraken.
the Kraken, and the giant octopus ate the ship. Like, no, it just got hit by a really big wave.
Is there is there a crazy story that you uncovered that you didn't know before? That you're just
Nothing
like,
really in particular.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed to always kind of target tourists for the most part. So
Yeah.
Well, that's what you guys do too, right?
Hey, we're locals. They targeted the hell out of us too. They got us. It's good.
So what's next? Like for the business, is that it seems like creative comes a little bit over here in the control of the artist. Is there business collaboration here, or is that kind of your area, Aaron? Like how does the business side of it and the goals for what's next happen?
I mean, we just want to keep expanding. We want to get into products more than just T-shirts, and we're looking to do collaborations with local businesses that we like, and just keep with the local theme and kind of expand the product line. Basically.
Yeah, so like bags, or when you say expand the product line?
More like button downs, flannels, hoodies, and stuff. I want to make a hoodie that has a snap on the sleeve, so you can snap it to the back and wear it like a backpack.
Oh, sweet!
Yeah.
It's like whenever you hike, you have to take it off, and then you wrap it around your waist. And I don't like
we
that.
do like some matching summer tops to like swim trunk going on.
definitely.
all kinds of fun stuff.
I'm into that.
Can we bring back the tearaways?
Oh yeah, dude! Like the old Michael Jordan.
Yeah,
tearaway.
where you
I
just
love
the
that.
buttons,
That's
those
a
were-
great idea.
The MC Hammer pants.
Oh,
All
please,
Colorado.
everything we just said right there. Please, guys, bring it all back.
So it's
Just
a-
bring
goes
it
to
all
shorts.
back.
Oh yeah, that would be
Life
awesome.
was better with a pair of shoe
shorts,
pants.
just
Right.
you tear away the
Tear away
legs.
the legs and
Then
put
you got
on it.
shorts.
I like that. I like that. Yeah, well, I'm excited. I think that there's deeper things that we're doing as a partnership, and it's just nice because I think there's a lot of things on I from Denver where I'm like, Dave, tell me a story so I can post about it, because
Yeah.
there's things I didn't know half of this shit. I knew about the aliens, but nothing else. Like I didn't. know
AI's got nothing on him.
AI's
got nothing
Dave
on him.
is AI.
He built AI. Like, it's like, let me tell you what's actually right.
Yeah.
I've got deep roots in Denver. I come from a line of cops. My grandfather was a Denver cop. My dad. So, and each of them were on the force for 35, 40
So
years.
stories for
So
days.
stories for days.
yeah.
People talk to you. Like everybody comes up and just starts talking to them.
Yeah.
So if there's someone with a story, for some reason they just
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, I'm going to tell this guy my story.
Yeah.
Well, he's got. I mean, you guys both have really cool personalities, but it was really fun watching Dave interact. As some of you guys know, Abstract and Indy Ink have been with us at Chicken Fight and at Top Talk of the Show, and they're going to continue to do all those events with us coming into the future. But when you get to come up and talk to Dave and you get to hear about all this stuff, watching him interact with literally, I don't even know, hundreds, thousands of people all at one time, and literally just it just doesn't stop.
Well,
It's like
I
5
think
hours
it's
straight.
because you're buying a shirt, and there's got to be that story to it, right? I think we talked about that,
Yeah.
to where there's that emotional connection to a shirt, to where you're not just being like, oh, this is a cool shirt, I like this. It's like it reflects something about an emotional connection, right? Is that kind of what you see with people buying the gear?
Absolutely, yeah. If you can tell them the story behind not only the design but the artist, then they can make that personal connection and have a story with the shirt. It's more than just a graphic T-shirt at that point.
How do the artists got to love it, right? Because it's hard for artists to get their art seen, and you guys are giving them an outlet to be seen online, to be seen in the stores. Like, they have to love the relationship with you guys.
Yeah, I hope they do. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they keep making shirts. They keep making shirts. Yeah. Otherwise they're out, bro. Forget this. Fuck your killdozer, bro. I don't care about this.
Yeah, everyone who we approach is always very excited to work on something with us and collaborate on the design.
Once you walk into that factory there, I mean, it's like you automatically are like, all right, what can we figure out in here? I mean, it's impressive what you guys do over there. I mean, it's a hell of an operation.
Well, so I'm from Denver. We're partnering with you guys to where we're going to have your store on our channel. So a lot of the shirts that you guys design, and I mean, we talk about Roger the Elephant, the DIA, and all the other shirts, but there's a lot of designs that represent Colorado when you walk into the store that just have personality. And we're going to have that on our social media network. I know Jake and I are excited to be partnering with you guys on that, because I think there's the reason people follow I'm from Denver is that nostalgia, that kind of throwback vibe. And you guys have that. And I think you also have stories that help us to where we're like, what the hell are we going to post today? Well, Dave, can you give me some ideas here? Like, so that's exciting.
Every now and then, guys, we run dry. You know, we got to post a lot. So these guys are great.
Where do people buy the shirts right now if they want to go online? Can they get them online or?
Yep, abstractdenver.com.
Okay, super easy. Well, appreciate you guys coming on, and just I think this partnership is going to be awesome. And then we'll be at every event with you guys. The reaction of people seeing the shirts was nice. When it's just Jake and I standing there, people just keep on walking. They see your shirts and Dave, and they're like, "Hi, these."
Speak for yourself, man. I'm out there breakdancing. Dave's like automatic target. Like, there's a really big looking friendly guy. He's got really cool T-shirts. All of a sudden, it's like, definitely changed the booth. It was awesome.
That's fun. Cool. Thanks, guys. We appreciate you coming on.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you.